Activists representing diverse indigenous voices are advocating for the cancellation of all debt owed by Global South countries to the Global North. Many African countries are burdened by significant debt owed to institutions like the World Bank and IMF, hindering their long-term social and economic development.
So we are in debt trap diplomacy, being engineered by the Global North. And we are also facing debt, we are facing financial imperialism and financial dictatorship. So why? Because all this started from the time of slave trade, colonialism. When Europeans came here, so they took most of our resources and even our labor. And meaning we demand them something, so they have to pay us for the crimes they committed those days.
The Debt for Climate movement is exerting pressure on the Global North countries to relieve Global South nations of their debt burden. This relief would enable these nations to allocate resources towards climate mitigation, adaptation, and resilience-building efforts.
Polluters must compensate for the devastation that they have caused on our environment and the lives of people who are bearing the brunt of the climate crisis.
We are trying to engage the IMF and the World Bank on all platforms that are available so that they can be able to understand where the issue of debt cancellation is coming from and the graveness of the issue and how it is affecting thousands and millions of lives in Africa and the Global South.
As a consequence of their debt obligations, stressed Global South countries, especially in Africa, are driven to exploit environmentally harmful natural resources like oil and coal to generate income for servicing their debt and achieving economic growth targets.
Why do we have a fight with the World Bank? Because they give loans to corrupt governments for projects that are ill-defined, that are not fit for purpose. They charge us different interest rates in the Global South to what they charge in the Global North, with more onerous conditions that benefit the Global North because they want to perpetuate a system of what we call colonialism 2.0. A new form of colonialism, financial colonialism. And then when we ask for renegotiation, they insist on structural adjustment programs. So they tell us that we must curb our wage increases for our workers. They put conditions on us that say when they give us the loans, we must prefer a procurement from companies in the Global North. So these are the levers they pull to entrench a system that enslaves Africa, and we must unshackle ourselves.
Cancellation of these trillions of dollars in debt is viewed as a crucial step in curbing the climate crisis, especially considering that 17 out of the 20 most climate-affected countries are in Africa. Extreme climatic events are becoming increasingly common, not only in Uganda but globally.
You can ask how quickly the fires broke out in Maui in Hawaii, how quickly it flooded in Italy, how quickly it flooded in Canada, how quickly the fires raged. It will be upon us. We are facing this year in the Global South and in Southern Africa the start of the El Nino phenomenon. Climate scientists predict that it will be particularly harsh over the next 2 or 3 years.
When you look at my country, Uganda, the climate crisis or climate change is transforming every inhabited region in Uganda. When you see the eastern part, there have been so many landslides taking place and floodings that have disrupted the economy in the east and also life, schools destroyed, agriculture.
The willingness of the Global North to address this issue will most likely influence Global South countries with low emissions to secure meaningful representation in climate negotiations. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.